just under 10 hours left to go of 2016 until we move into 2017. I have to get in one more video this year, and so this is going to be my fast little review of the 2016 Doctor Who Christmas special, The Return of Doctor Mysterio. We've had one official year with no Doctor Who at all. I mean, apart from the spin-off Class, which I watched and I generally thought was quite good. This was the first new episode in 1 year of Doctor Who that we got. The only new official episode of Doctor Who that we got all year. And so, here's my thoughts on it. Now, when most people heard about this kind of filming shots, leakages and everything, and the plot started to filter out, involving a superhero and everything, a lot of people I saw were like, oh god, they're doing this. Oh god, this is going to be terrible. I'll be honest with you, I thought it sounded kind of fun. I love the concept. I mean, there were only 3 movies that I went to see this year that weren't superhero themed. I had Star Trek Beyond, Arrival, and the new Star Wars Rogue One, which I saw a couple of days ago. Everything else I went to see this year was superhero related. Civil War, Batman vs Superman, Deadpool, X-Men Apocalypse, Doctor Strange, and Suicide Squad. I went to see all the superhero movies this year, and frankly, it wasn't intended that I watched all these superhero movies because Doctor Who was doing a superhero episode at Christmas. But seeing it, I personally loved this episode. I mean, it kind of pays homage to the classic Superman movies of Christopher Reeve, like the 80s, but never to a point where it's insulting or it's satirical. The basic roundup for you in terms of the plots, thanks to some slight interference by the Doctor, he accidentally gives a young boy superpowers, and the boy soon grows up to become a vigilante known as the Ghost. And he, the Doctor, and the Doctor's previous friend from last year's Christmas special, Nardole, have to team up with a reporter known as Lucy Fletcher in order to stop a group of brain-swapping aliens working with a company called Harmony Shoal. And yeah, it's basically trying to stop them from taking over the world. Now, Justin Chatwin and Charity Wakefield as Grant and Lucy Fletcher in this episode, I personally felt that they were brilliant. I mean, I personally haven't seen any of their other works for either of them, but they work so well in this. I mean, they're the classic Lois Lane and Clark Kent parodies, and they just did a marvellous job. Everything, plus I felt it was a kind of a nice little twist. I mean, with the Superman and Lois Lane, it's always they keep their jobs and their work separate, but making it so Grant was actually Lucy's nanny, that was clever. That someone she had known from high school had constantly kind of avoided, but just them getting together in the end and her learning that he was the Ghost. That I just love that. I mean, Matt Lucas was back as well, as I said, as the companion Nardole. They did give an explanation as to how he was able to come back, and I think they did it just enough. Anything more than that, I feel, would have interrupted the flow of the story, but it was kind of a nice little nod, indicating he was back, indicating why he had come back, why the Doctor had cut him out of Hydroflax. The villains of the story, Dr. Sim and Mr. Brock, they're pretty sinister, especially with the brain creatures inside them. They just, every now and then, they just give you a little shiver. The one problem I'll admit I did have with this episode slightly was the Harmony Shoal's plan. I had to watch the episode I had to watch the episode 2 or 3 times before I truly understood, because first time I did find the evil plan a little bit complex. What they're essentially trying to do is crash a spaceship above the Earth into New York. That would wipe out the whole city except for the Harmony Shoals building, to which the world leaders, in thinking it was an alien attack, would immediately flock to the safest place they could, the Harmony Shoals buildings, where their brains would be swapped out with the alien brains, which I'll admit I did find that a little bit complicated first time round. I didn't entirely understand what exactly was going on what the plan was really supposed to accomplish. But after seeing it through several times, I understood what they were trying to do, and I'll admit, it sounded like a pretty clever plan. So, yeah, my overall thoughts on this episode, absolutely brilliant. Justin Chatwin and Charity Wakefield, as I've said before, they're brilliant. Matt Lucas is hilarious. Peter Capaldi, once again, brilliant job. And personally, I think it's a really fun episode to round out 2016. With all the superhero movies we've had this year, this was a nice little nod to them, and just this was great. I love this episode, and we've got a lot more Doctor Who to look forward to as finally Series 10 is coming next year. So yeah, that's my fast little review of the Return of Doctor Mysterio. And I gotta admit, I love the episode. Anyway, have a happy 2017, and let's hope it's better than the last.